Elon Musk was just interviewed by the Wall Street Journal, where he was asked a variety of questions on taxes, infrastructure, Tesla, Cybertruck, autonomous driving, and more. Here's what Elon said and what this could mean for Tesla. Let's begin with taxes, as this has been a heated debate and has led, at least partially, to Elon selling 10% of his Tesla shares. Elon Musk was asked how would he tax someone like himself, and so he states that he already pays 53% tax, and this is evident in his recent sale of Tesla stock, where he'll likely be paying around $12 billion in taxes. Of course, he will likely be acquiring more shares through his options, but he says even if all the money from billionaires was taken away essentially and just given to the government, this still wouldn't cover the country's deficit at all. If anything, Elon Musk argues that it doesn't make a lot of sense to take money away from people who have proven themselves to be very good at allocating capital. For example, Tesla's demonstrating that through its hiring of over 100,000 people at the company and bringing new manufacturing technology to the United States and even the rest of the world. And SpaceX is also innovating like crazy. Elon's got the Boring Company and Neuralink in the works as well. So it doesn't make sense to take money away from good capital allocators that are creating jobs, especially while they're innovating, and give it to the government, which has proven itself to be a terrible capital allocator and continues to print money like crazy since they can't figure out how to balance the budget and get the economy going again. He is in favor of an estate tax, however, which makes sense since it's also along those same lines of taking capital from someone who is good at allocating it and transferring it to someone who may not be as good. But Elon believes that it's better for the government to step back, and he notes the difference in East and West Germany and North and South Korea, where the GDP per capita of the areas that have smaller government is an order of magnitude higher. So he's very much in favor of government being smaller and using the money more efficiently. He gives the example of the government being efficient at collecting money from all the citizens and allocating some of that to science, for example. He mentions sending a probe to Mars, which is more efficient than asking everyone in the country for $10 to fund the project. Elon Musk also has some stern words for the president's infrastructure bill, as clearly he states that it might be better if the bill doesn't pass. He says that the federal budget deficit is insane. They're planning to spend at least $3 trillion, which is effectively a $3 trillion loss if the government was viewed as a company. And he doesn't think that we should be adding to that loss. You can't spend $3 trillion every year and not expect something bad to happen. This is another stern warning from Elon that this simply isn't sustainable. Elon Musk also says that Tesla doesn't really think about or care about this bill. And really, Tesla is production constrained anyways, so giving huge breaks on EVs doesn't really help much to begin with, especially since Tesla has been doing fine without tax benefits in most geographies. Elon thinks that instead, the money should be spent on improving airports, highways, and build double-decker highways and have tunnels. And of course, the Boring Company is working on that. But I think he's worried about the deficit and that throwing money at everything randomly simply won't bring back sustainable growth. It's up to the market and the economy and innovative companies to bring new innovations to the world. Otherwise, this spending trend will just continue in the years to come. Now, he does mention that the $7,500 tax credit that all car companies got for their first 200,000 vehicles hasn't applied for Tesla for almost a few years now, and so all of Tesla's vehicle sales have no credit, whereas other auto manufacturers, everyone except for General Motors, still gets the credit, and yet Tesla still sells about 2/3 of all of the EVs in the United States. I think it's important that Elon Musk emphasizes this, since recently we've heard some nonsense from Joe Biden, who called General Motors the leader in EVs, even though GM only had around 10% market share in the US, and they've since had to recall all of their Chevy Bolts and won't be selling any EVs for the rest of 2021. Of course, GM CEO Mary Barra also believes that GM is the leader, even though it's clear that they're not, and she never corrected the president when he said this. And so again, Elon Musk recommends that this entire infrastructure bill should be canned. The bill includes support for gas stations and for charging networks, surprisingly both of which Elon Musk doesn't think the country needs support for, and this should all be deleted. Of course, the oil and gas subsidies should be removed, but he's making a bold statement that Tesla doesn't need any help expanding their charging network either. People incorrectly assume that Tesla is only around because of subsidies, but here we have Elon stating very clearly that they don't need any, and it's essentially lobbying from the rest of the auto industry that's causing this unnecessary spending of taxpayer money. Tesla doesn't actually need any government subsidies, and the government should just get out of the way and let these companies innovate and grow on their own. Elon Musk says that the role of government should be like a referee, not like a player on the field, and right now it appears that they're picking winners and losers, especially by favoring union-made vehicles, which is absolutely ridiculous. One suggestion that Elon Musk has stated in the past before in terms of changing the government mindset and improving the environment is instead of adding rules and regulations, the government should work harder to remove them as they stick around forever and eventually hinder businesses and individuals as more and more rules are added each year without end. And by the way, stop using Yahoo Finance, stop using Google Finance, and have a look at our website, themarketisopen.com, where we have instant stock quotes and financial data going back 10 years, and it's all freely available. Now, interestingly, Elon Musk makes a bold statement and says that autonomous driving is on its way, and when that happens, he actually thinks that it will cause even more cars to be on the road. I think many people think that autonomy will mean fewer vehicles on the road because of sharing. But if it's easier and cheaper to call an autonomous vehicle, the amount of transportation will increase, as Elon is alluding to, and at least the amount of time that cars are on the road for will increase and thus cause more congestion. And so with regards to autonomous, he says that it's absolutely coming and will be one of the biggest transformations ever in human civilization. Now, I think this happens to be extremely bullish for Tesla's autonomous driving division, as Elon Musk is confirming that not only is Tesla closer than ever before to solving this complex software problem, and at the very least far ahead of its competitors, but the end result will pay massive dividends to shareholders. Elon Musk says this is the most advanced practical AI for navigating the real world. And this also relates to the Tesla robot. He says Tesla is the biggest robotics company in the world, and so why not put this technology into a robot as well? Actually, Tesla needs to develop custom actuators and sensors to build the physical robot, but really it seems like Tesla is planning to make their AI solution for full self-driving more general by calling it a real-world navigation AI, which will include robots. Perhaps it will also include other vehicles and devices as well, such as boats, planes, drones, etc., in the future to navigate all sorts of different environments. But for the Tesla bot, its purpose is to fill in for human labor, which humans may not like the sound of at first, but there is a shortage of laborers and workers, and that's the basis for the economy. Elon Musk actually issues a stark warning to humanity as well. He says if people don't have more children, civilization is going to crumble, mark my words. He worries that there could be a population collapse, and everyone thinks that there's too many people in the world. That's been the mindset for many years, while in fact the opposite is true and there are too few, especially as the birth rate continues to decline globally. This is very worrisome. Shifting gears, Elon Musk is asked about how he divides his time between Tesla and SpaceX, which he says is about even, depending on his triaging of different tasks to see where his time is needed the most if there's a crisis. He does address the Techno King title that he holds at Tesla, which he says was done mainly just to show that titles are fairly meaningless. The role of CEO, CFO, etc. is just made up and isn't even required to file for a corporation, which only needs a president, secretary, and treasurer or director. Of course, this comes as Tesla is pushing hard to acquire more talent at the company, where we saw Elon Musk recently tweeted again about getting more talented people to work on software and AI. At the beginning of the interview, he also mentions how the company is organized at Giga Texas, with the management team situated as closely as possible to the other employees, which he contrasts to an ivory tower where all the CEOs and management sit far away from their employees. This convergence has been working extremely well for Tesla and Elon's other companies, as he shares what should be probably copied by many other companies who have found themselves stuck with the ivory tower approach. Now, Elon was asked some rapid-fire questions, and I want to highlight what he said about the Cybertruck. Elon Musk thinks Cybertruck, will be the company's best product ever. This is a little different from his view on the truck a few years ago when he said that he didn't think people would like the product, but he liked it for himself. And now it seems that Tesla has really gotten behind it. And be sure to watch the last video where I discussed the latest Cybertruck updates. Now he does say that the vehicle will have a lot of new technology, which may be similar to what Tesla did when they released the Model X. They put too much into it, which caused issues and delays. But Elon later called it the Fabergé egg of cars and said there wouldn't be anything like it again. However, it seems like the Cybertruck will have even more new technology, for which he warns about delays. This time round, however, Tesla is a much larger company in terms of employees. They're significantly better at manufacturing, and they also need a really great product here if they want to compete with the incumbent Little 3 automakers who dominate the pickup truck space in the US, the largest pickup truck market in the world. Finally, some comments on China. The one that caught my attention was that Elon analogized that China will become the biggest kid on the block, and the biggest kid on the block can actually be fairly laid back. There's no real threats to the largest kid, as there aren't any to China, but they should behave as though when you were a smaller kid, how you wanted the biggest kid on the block to behave. He says that Tesla has a good relationship with China, and we've seen on Twitter that Elon frequently endorses things that China does. He addresses this here by saying that he's not meaning to endorse everything that China does in the same way that he would endorse all of the accomplishments of the United States, but it's important to create as positive a relationship as possible and work towards mutual prosperity for humanity as a whole. And I think he's right, and hopefully China and other countries take his advice. It was a great way to end his comments and the interview. So what do you think about the infrastructure bill? Is it important for you that Tesla gets additional credits on its EVs, or do you think the other automakers need this? Please hit the like button and subscribe. We would really appreciate that. And a huge shout out to all of our patrons that help to support our channel. Your support helps us to continue to make great content. Thank you guys so much for watching.